As we are entering the next topic, no, because we've been doing this, we've been talking about Bible characters na nakalista sa Hebrews chapter 11, those who have been commended because of their faith. It will be an inspiration for us to look at their lives and how can their stories, how can their situations apply sa ating buhay. Because most likely than not, yung mga pinagdadaanan nila ay we are also going through it in our lives in different seasons sa ating buhay. And as the seasons come, we would be able to respond with faith. Kaya ang goal natin sa series na to is that we will not only strive to grow in our IQ and in our EQ, but to grow in our FQ. Anong ulit ang FQ? All together? Faith quotient, no? How is your faith? Is your faith growing? Is your faith increasing? Is your faith becoming firm in the Lord so that whenever there are trials and situations, difficulties and hardships na dumating sa buhay natin, we'll be able to go through it and overcome it. And yung pag-uusapan nating Bible character today is the person who brought about the fulfillment of the promise that God has for Abraham. Kaya kung titignan natin yung simula ng first Bible character na pinag-usapan natin sa series na to, para magkakaroon tayo ng Old Testament survey or roadmap sa Old Testament. Mas maunawaan agad natin yung flow ng first 5 or 6 books in the Bible. Of course, when we talk about Abel, he is the son of Adam. And he offered a better sacrifice to the Lord. And it was acceptable to God. Nainggit yung kanyang kapatid na si Cain. In case, sabi ko nga, you have a hard time identifying who is Abel or who is Cain, kung sino ang pinatay at sino yung pumatay. A is for animal, C is for crops. So yung crops ang pumatay doon sa nag-offer ng matabang animal. So si Abel yon. But hindi lang po dalawa yung anak ni Adam. Meron pa siyang anak na ang pangalan ay si Seth. So namatay si Abel, si Cain ay naging wanderer, si Seth ay nagkaroon ng anak at nagkaroon siya ng anak na ang pangalan ay Enoch. Then, from Enoch, he has a son who is known to be the longest person ever lived in the Bible, that is Methuselah, 969. Then, after Methuselah, may anak siyang si Lamech, at si Lamech nagkaroon ng anak na si Noah. And it was during that time that the world is full of evil. As a matter of fact, Bible scholars says there has been never a time that the world was so evil that the Lord wants to wipe out all humanity. And the Lord regretted why He made human beings. So Noah built an ark. No one listened to his preaching. People thought he was foolish because he was talking about rain and floods, but there has never been rain and floods that people see hanggang sa time ni Noah. So there was a reset of the whole nation. Ang nabuhay lang po yung pamilya ni Noah. Then si Noah may 3 anak, si Ham, si Japhet at si Shem. Sa linya ni Shem, doon po nanggaling yung tatay ni Abraham na si Terah. So andyan na ngayon si Abraham, yung pinag-usapan natin, whom God promised that he is going to be the father of all nations, that he will have descendants as many as the stars in the sky and the sands in the seashore. But he is already in his old age, but he has no son. His wife, Sarah, was barren. But the Lord was faithful to his promise. And He gave them a son named Isaac. Nakakasunod bang lahat? Okay. So Old Testament roadmap na ito, no? So in case you haven't read the whole book, parang binasa ko na para sa inyo through this genealogy. So Isaac had a son and he was named Jacob. Ang kanyang twin, ang pangalan ay si Esau. Then Jacob fled and he wrestled with God, and his name was changed to Israel. Kaya Hebrew nation, tapos naging Israelites, doon nagbago sa time ni Jacob. Are you with me? So Jacob had 12 sons. And one of his sons, his most favorite, na binigyan na ng colorful robe ay si Joseph. So yung mga kapatid niya ay galit na galit sa kanya, nainggit sa kanya, ang ginawa, siya ay binenta at pinagkamalang namatay at dinivore ng wild animal. So, Jacob was so heartbroken. But the Lord has a plan. Sabi ng kanta kanina, what the enemy meant for evil, God can turn it for good. It's actually in the life of Joseph. So, binenta siya ngayon sa Egypt, sa house ni Potiphar, hanggang nakarating siya second in command ni Pharaoh. It was during the time that the whole nation were experiencing famine, and only Joseph thought of a way how he could save people from famine. So yung kanyang mga pamilya, 12 tribes, ay pumunta ngayon sa Egypt. Kaya nagtataka kayo, bakit sila napunta sa Egypt? Because there was no food somewhere else. So they were in Egypt. And from 12 tribes na nandun, siguro around 100 people, they were staying in Egypt. They have grown in vast number and they become a nation called Israel. And the Egyptians were threatened and they made them slaves for 300 to 400 years. But the Lord raised up from among the tribe of Israel a deliverer named Moses. Nakakasunod ba? So si Moses ngayon ay dineliver yung mga Israelites from the hands of Pharaoh going to the promised land. But Moses did not make it because he was too old and some of the people did not make it. He died. And so he was replaced and succeeded by a person named Joshua. And Joshua was the one who was successful to bring the Israelite nation to the promised land. And so the promise was fulfilled that the Lord will give this land to His people. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 30, yung ating text. Nababasahin and only one verse, but I request everyone to please rise in reverence to the reading of God's word. Can we read all together verse 30? By faith, the walls of Jericho fell. Joshua accomplished his assignment. His what? His assignment of leading the Israelite nation to the promised land. But it wasn't that easy. In Joshua chapter 1, the Lord commanded Joshua 4 times to be courageous. Let's read. Verse 6, be strong and courageous, because we will lead these people to inherit the land I swore to their ancestors to give them. Be strong and be very courageous. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Paulit-ulit, 4 na beses sa 4 na verses. To be strong and be very courageous. Pakisabi sa katabi mo, be strong and be very courageous. For you to fulfill God's assignment for your life, I don't know what that is. For Joshua to bring the Israelite nation to the promised land, you need to be strong and courageous. So today I want to speak from the title, Joshua, a Courageous Faith. Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for your word. Your word is a lamp to our feet and a light unto our path. May it illuminate anything in our life that is in darkness, that we may be able to walk in accordance to your will. So today, Lord, I pray, whatever it is, Panginoon, that is disturbing our mind and our heart from not fully receiving your word, we are setting it aside. We are putting it down. And we're giving space for your word to speak into our heart, into our minds, that we will be changed, that we will be transformed, that our lives will bring glory and honor to your name. Your word is powerful. It can change us. Thank you, Lord, for this word. May you speak to your people today na nakikinig more than what I will say and speak to them. May you speak to them in a very personal and powerful way. In Jesus' name we pray. Everybody said, amen. Let's take our seats. There were 3 occasions, probably more than 3 occasions, that Joshua displayed a courageous faith. But we're just going to look at 3 occasions. I was really looking into paano ko mapaiksi itong preaching na to because Joshua's life started in the book of Numbers and he has a whole chapter named Joshua, the book of Joshua. 24 chapters. So paano natin pag-uusapan to lahat? So we're just going to look at 3 events or 3 occasions where Joshua displayed a courageous faith. Dahil necessary po itong courageous faith na ito for us to be able to fulfill the assignment, the calling that God has for our lives. So we're going to start in the book of Numbers. Number 1, among the 3 occasions. Number 1, first is that Joshua reported through the eyes of faith while others feared. It was during this time that Moses, before they are about to enter the promised land, nag-utos po siya ng 12 spies, 1 from each of the tribe, to go and visit and check itong kanilang lupang ikakanker. Ano ba ang meron dito? We have to know our enemies. What is good about this land? What is in this land? So that we will not be caught off guard. So itong 10 spies, pinadala ni Moses, at 12 spies, pinadala ni Moses sa Canaan for 40 days to investigate and give a feedback after that so they might be prepared to conquer this land. In verse 27, sila po'y bumalik at ito po yung kanilang account. They gave Moses this account. We went into the land to which you sent us, and it does flow with milk and honey. Totoong tunay nga, mandaming milk at andaming honey. Alam, parang hindi natin maintindihan yan sa ngayon kasi we are not milk and honey people. No? Siguro ang daming bigas at ang daming tinapay. Parang gano'n no, pag sa Pilipino. Here is its fruit, talking about the grapefruit that was so vast and great in number. Napakaganda ang root, maganda ang magtanim sa area na yon. But the people who live there are powerful and the cities are fortified. It means ang fortified, napakakapal ng kanilang mga bakod or walls and are very large. We even saw the descendants of Anak there. Sino si Anak? Later on. Verse 29, the Amalekites live in the Negev, the Hittites, Jebusites, and Amorites live in the hill country, and the Canaanites live near the sea along the Jordan. So they were spotting where are these people located. Then Caleb, who was with Joshua, both of them, silenced the people before Moses and said, we should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it. So there's the courage. While the other 10 spies who reported to them that it's difficult to conquer this land, Joshua and Caleb saw it in the eyes of faith. Next, but the men who had gone up with him said, we can't attack those people. They are stronger than we are. And they spread, so hindi lang yun, no? They spread rumors. They spread among the Israelites a bad report about the land that they had explored. It's not really the promised land. It's the execution land. Bakit? Sabi niya dyan, they said, the land we explored devours those living in it. All the people we saw, all as in all, so grabe ang ano dito, all the people we saw there are of great size. We saw the Nephilim there. Yun na yung descendants of Anak. Ano to yung Nephilim? These Nephilim are people who are large giants. No? According to Bible scholars, itong mga Nephilim na to, 10 feet ang taas nila. Have you been beside a basketball player? According to the NBA, ang pinakamatangkad na NBA player, 7'7" ang height. Sa Pilipinas, wala tayong 7'7" siguro. And siguro pagkatabi mo itong mga NBA player na to, parang wow, ang tangkad, no? How about 10 feet? Parang one story, parang floor to ceiling. Alright? And he said, we seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we look the same to them. So anong pagkakaiba dito sa nakikita ni Caleb at nakita nitong mga 10 spies? Now, the psychologists, behavioral psychologists, usually use this exercise, next slide, about this cup in a water. Now, I want you to tell the person beside you, what do you see? Okay? Sa side mo. Ano nakita mo? Okay? Ano nakikita mo dyan sa cup na yan? Okay. Now, here's the thing. They use this exercise to give a hint kung ano ang perspective or outlook ng tao sa buhay. Sa mga nagsasabi that this cup is half empty, it means that you are more leaning into a perspective that is pessimistic. Medyo negative ka sa mga buhay. Wala na yung pag-asa. Hindi pa nga tapos, nakikita mo lang yung dark clouds. Uulan na yung babagyo ng signal number 3. Ganon. If you are going to look at this cup as half full, they say that you are an optimistic person. You see possibilities. Kahit may nahihirapan, pwede pa yan. Kaya pa yan. Let's do it. Pagsusurvive pa yan. Yung mga ganon, no? So if you're going to look at itong 10 spies, they are more on the half-empty or the pessimistic side, while Joshua and Caleb look at the positive side of the coin. Now, ito yung nakita nila. Punta tayo sa table. Pare-pareho sila ng nakita, pero iba-iba sila ng response. Si Joshua at saka si Caleb at saka ang 10 spies. Number 1, land flowing with honey and milk. Yes, I agree. Sabi nung 10, yes, land flowing with honey and milk. Sabi nung 10, abundant with grapefruits. Sabi ni Joshua and Caleb, yeah, it's right. It's abundant with grapefruits. Sabi ng 10 spies, fortified walls and powerful armies. Sabi ni Joshua and Caleb, yeah, that's right. There are powerful armies and there are fortified walls. Sabi ng 10 spies, we are like grasshoppers. We can't win against them. Sabi naman ni Joshua at Caleb, we should take possession of the land. We could certainly do it. Ito yung pagkakaiba. Alam mo kasi, pag yung faith natin hindi anchored, hindi aligned sa Panginoon, yung faith natin is shallow, we tend to exaggerate the problem than they usually are. Masyado natin pinapalaki yung mga bagay na hindi naman ganun kalaki because of lack of faith. Because we are looking it at the lens of fear. We are looking it at the lens of being terrified and afraid. That's why, may bagay lang na maliit na nangyari sa buhay mo, nabasted ka lang, parang wala nang kulay ang mundo. Diba? Parang sinakluban na ako ng kaldero, sinakluban na ako ng langit at lupa. Hindi ka lang pumasa sa job interview. Ito na nga sinasabi ng nanay ko, talagang walang kwenta ako, talaga ako na yung pinakabobo sa buong clan namin. How many among you have this kind of attitude? When something bad happens to you, you are that person, you're more inclined towards exaggerating the bad things na kaya pa to. Okay, one company, hindi ako natanggap. Ilang companies meron? 1,000. Let's try. Di ba? Hindi na ako makakalabas sa utang na to. Wala na. Buhay akong mahirap. Parang ganun na nga talaga. Mamamatay na akong mahirap. Talagang useless na to. A courageous faith does not neglect the reality of the situation. If you're going to look at, he both agree that there are powerful armies and fortified walls. But a courageous faith is not a lukso sa dilim. Parang okay lang. It's not a leap of faith in the dark. A courageous faith is anchored in the promise of God that what God says is true and it's going to happen. And God said to Abraham and his ancestors that they're going to give the land to them. And so, Joshua and Caleb saw the good things that will happen in their life if they are able to possess it. Now, nung narinig itong report ng 10 spies, ng bansang Israel, in chapter 14 of Numbers, ano ang naging response nila? May makikita tayo dito, symptoms of fear and signs of faith. Tignan natin kung saan tayo dyan. So ano naging response nung marinig nila na tayo'y parang grasshopper lang? Di ba exaggeration yun? Kung ang size nung Nephilim is 10 feet, ano ba ang usual average size ng tao? 5 or 6. At least kahit paano, kung tumayo yung Nephilim, taga rito, ano? Pero sabi nila, grasshopper, taga rito. So talagang exaggeration nangyari. So let's try to look at kung ano yung naging response ng bansang Israel sa report. Pinaniwalaan ba nila ang 10 spies o si Joshua and Caleb? Ito yung nangyari. So, try to look at this. If there are symptoms of fear in life, number one symptom of fear is that worry. Anong sabi ng verse 1? Anong response nila nung marinig nila? That night, all the members of the community raised their voices and wept aloud. They were in great distress. They were like panicking and they were like sobrang takot na takot sila that they wept aloud. They were filled with worry. Sometimes we are like that. Sila kung umiyak sila buong gabi, tayo pag nagkaroon ng problema, di makatulog buong gabi. Tingnan mo yung katabi mo. Mukha bang puyat? Worry is one symptom of fear. Tapos ano nangyari? Verse 2. All the Israelites blame, no? Yung next, blame. Pag may nangyari hindi maganda sa buhay, if you're afraid, you blame people. It said, all the Israelites grumbled against Moses and Aaron, and the whole assembly said to them, if only we had died in Egypt and in the wilderness. Now look at this. Mas pipiliin pa nilang mamatay na slave doon sa Egypt na walang karapatan at hindi tao yung tingin sa kanila, at mas pipiliin pa nilang mamatay sa wilderness, sa gutom, sa init, na walang permanent land, na walang permanent na libingan, kasi sobrang takot nila kaysa mamatay sila fighting for their freedom. Imagine how afraid they were, that they were willing to die as slaves. I would be willing to die to fight for my freedom than fight and then die as a slave. Pero dahil sa sobrang takot nila, Moses, pabuti pa't doon na lang kami namatay. Sana hindi mo na lang kami dinala. Sana hindi mo na lang kami inalis doon. Then, what happens? Complain. Why is the Lord bringing us to this land? Only to let us fall by the sword. Our wives and children will be taken as plunder. Wouldn't it be better for us to go back to Egypt? Mas pipiliin pa nila maging slave at walang identity kaysa ipaglaban yung promise ng Lord sa buhay nila at maging isang nation na pinamis ng Lord sa kanila. Then ano nangyari? Next is that, and they said to each other, can we read this? We should choose a leader and go back to Egypt. Ayaw na namin sa iyo, Moses. Ayaw na namin sa iyo, Aaron. Babalik kami. Now, if you're going to look at your life today, are there symptoms of fear? Do you see worry, you blame, complain, madalas na lang nagre-reklamo, ano ba tong buhay na to? Ano ba tong taong to? Now, anong ginawa dito ni Caleb tsaka ni Joshua? After this, they replied. And we can see signs of faith. One verse after, that's verse 4. In verse 6, itong sinabi ni Joshua. Joshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, said to the entire Israelite assembly, who were complaining, blaming, and who were losing hope. The land we passed through and explored is exceedingly good. Ang ganda nga naman kasi. Hindi nyo kasi nakita kami paniwalaan nyo. There's really a good opportunity there. Okay? Then, trust. If the Lord is pleased with us, He will lead us into the land, a land flowing with milk and honey, and will give it to us. Sabi ng Lord, ibibigay niya sa atin. And if we are going to live our lives pleasing to God and do what God says, then it will really be given to us. Come on, wake up, don't fear. Then, next is, sign is gratefulness. Only do not rebel against the Lord. The word rebel in other translations means don't complain against the Lord. They kept on complaining and complaining. Are you with me? And lastly, and do not be afraid of the people of the land because we will devour them. Sabi nung kanina, ang report ng 10 spies, those who come to it will be devoured. Sabi ni Caleb and Joshua, we will devour them. Their protection is gone, but the Lord is with us and do not be afraid. Now here is one thing that Joshua and Caleb saw nung sila ay pumasok doon sa Kanaan. Nakita nila at narinig nila ang mga reports ng anong ginawa ng Diyos ng Israel, kung paano pinalaya ng Diyos ng Israel sila sa Ehipto, at paano hinati yung Red Sea, at paano nagkaroon ng fire, pillar of fire and pillar of clouds. That news spread inside Canaan, and they didn't know na yung mga Canaanite people were already trembling. Kaya sinelyado nila talaga yung kanilang city para walang makapasok. And Joshua and Caleb knew about that. Kaya sinabi na their protection is gone. Basag na ang confidence nila. Kaya sinabi na do not be afraid. Now, tanong, sino kaya ang pinaniwalaan ng spies ng mga Israelite nation? Ano kaya naging response nila after ng speech ni Joshua at saka ni Caleb? Nakakatuwa ho. Ano yun? Verse 10. Tingnan nyo. Basahin natin lahat. But, all together, hindi naniwala. You know what? Tayong mga tao, minsan mas pinaniniwalaan talaga natin yung bad news kaysa good news. We are more inclined to believe the bad things. Alam mo, may diagnosis, may cancer ka daw. Sabi nung isa, kaya yan. Kasi alam mo, nakita ko yung tita ko, gumaling. Sabi niya, naku, delikado, ilang buwan ka na yun. Alam mo, kanino maniniwala yung taong yon? Doon sa taong may taning na yung buhay. Ilang buwan na lang ako mabubuhay. Sabi nga nung isa may pag-asa, sabi nung isa walang pag-asa. Mas doon tayo sa walang pag-asa. May utang ka, hindi ka makawala sa utang. Sabi niya, okay lang yan, sipag at syaga para may nilaga. Sabi nung isa, naku, talaga mahirap bayaran yan. Naku, baka mag-file pa ng kaso yon, baka tinakot ka pa. Kanino maniniwala yung tao? Naku, talaga papailan ako ng kaso. Paano yan? Ito lahat. O, di ba? Ganun tayo. So, walang pinagkaiba. Yung nation, mas naniwala at gusto na nilang stone to death. Itong si Joshua at si Caleb. The bearer of good news. Alam mo, sobrang galit ng Lord dito pag binasa mo yan. Sabi ng Lord, alam mo itong mga tao to, gusto ko nang patayin to, sabi ng Lord. Sabi ni Moses, pumagitna siya, Lord, wag mong patayin itong mga tao na to. Bright din si Moses. Sabi ng Lord, bakit? Kasi pag pinatay mo mga tao na to at pinatay mo kaming lahat, hindi na mangyayari yung pinramis mo na makapunta kami sa promised land. Sabi ng Lord, oo nga, sige na, I forgive them because you asked. So that's what happened here. Now, church, if you are going to, I have a question. If you look at your life today, are there areas where the symptoms of fear is evident? Sa finances, sa health, conflict sa marriage, sa negosyo, hindi na talaga kaya. What areas in your life today that the symptoms of fear is evident? Chances are you're not looking at it in the eyes of faith. That's why you don't have that courageous faith. When all Israel is shaking and trembling because of fear that is given by the 10 spies, Joshua displayed a courageous faith to possess the promised land and trusted the promise of God. Pangalawa, nakita nating event where Joshua displayed a courageous faith. Joshua responded to God's call to lead the nation Israel. At ito na nga dumating, hindi nakapasok si Moses sa promised land. Siya ay namatay of old age. And the next person na hahalili sa kanya ay si Joshua. And Joshua responded to the call of God to lead the nation Israel. Now here's one thing. To lead a group of people, small group, J group, di ba, sa office, ang hirap na nun. It's not an easy task. For us pastors to lead a congregation, it's a difficult task. How much more to lead a nation? And according to Bible archaeologists, Moses led around 1 million people out from Egypt to the promised land. But here's the thing. When Joshua was called to lead the nation Israel, it took 40 years. Ibig sabihin, nagkaanak pa yung 1 million. So possible, nung time na ni Joshua, ang nililid niya, hindi lang 1 million, baka 2 to 3 million na. Alam niyo gaano kalaki yung 2 to 3 million na tao? Alam niyo gaano kalaki yon? Mga taga Zamboanga, sa probinsya namin, ang ating population doon, from Limpapa to Licomo, it's around 1.4 million. Twice as many as the population of Zamboanga City. Yung iba nila mapicturize. Imagine that. Ganong kadaming tao. Now, anong ibig sabihin nito, Pastor Mark? More people, more concerns. More concerns, more problems. Now, if you are Joshua, would you respond to the call to lead the nation Israel? Tayo nga, uy, maging J-group leader ka na. Oh, J-group leader, wag, parang ayaw ko niya. Kasi di ba, mag-follow up yan? Mapapipray yan. Diba? Ilang tao ba yan? 3 lang. No! Masisira yung life-work balance ko and lahat-lahat na. Okay? J-group leaders, pataas nga ng kamay. Pakitaas nga kamay mga J-group leaders natin. Bigyan naman natin ng palakpakan yung mga leaders natin. So J-group leaders, if you are Joshua, would you respond to God's call to lead a nation? At ang one thing pa dito, buti sana ko itong nation na to, yung cooperative, yung united kayo, one in heart, one in mind, one in spirit. Ay gusto ka pang batuhin at stone to death eh. Divisive pa. Di ba? Entitled, spoiled brat. Di ba? Itong mga taong to. So ayun na nga, in chapter 1, verse 1 to 3, after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord said to Joshua, son of Nun, Moses aid. Sino daw si Joshua? Aid ni Moses. Moses, my servant is dead. Now then, you and all the people get ready to cross the Jordan River into the land that I am about to give to them, to the Israelites. I will give you every place where you set your foot, as I promised Moses. Anong response ni Joshua? In verse 10. So Joshua ordered the officers of the people, go through the camp and tell the people, get your provisions ready. 3 days from now, you will cross the Jordan here to go in and take the possession of the land the Lord your God is giving you for your own. Bakit kailangan ng courageous faith, Pastor Mark, for Joshua to lead these people? Sabi ko nga kanina, 4 na beses, talagang sinabihan ng Lord si Joshua, be strong and be very courageous. Siguro nag-aalinlangan siya. Be strong and be very courageous. Bakit kailangan ni Joshua maging strong and courageous? in leading this nation. Number one, he is pressured to lead like Moses. Sino ba tong si Moses? Ano ba track record niya? Si Moses lang naman po nakipag-usap sa burning bush. In case you wonder. Si Moses lang naman po yung ang pabalik-balik na kausapin si Pharaoh at challenge siya. Challenge niya si Pharaoh, yung king ng Egypt, na palayain yung kanyang mga sambayanan. Si Moses lang naman po yung nagtaas ng kanyang rod at nagpart ng Red Sea. And Joshua was there. Si Moses lang naman po yung 40 days na nakipag-usap sa Diyos sa Mount Sinai at pagbalik dala na yung tablet of 10 commandments. Anong track record ni Joshua? Anong sabi kanina? Joshua, son of Nun, Moses, aid. Pag iniisip ko, para bang si Duterte? Sino ba yung kanyang aid parate? Yung presidente pa siya. Parang si Bongo ang tingin ko dito kay Joshua. kay Duterte. Parang gano'n yung tingin ko. So, he is pressured to lead like Moses. Alright? Kaya niya kaya? Next is that, he will lead problematic and stubborn people. Problematic and stubborn, entitled. Alam niyo ba itong mga taong na to? Mareklamo. When they left in Egypt, sobrang hirap silang kahit makakain man lang doon as slaves. But when God brought them out of Egypt into the promised land, while on their journey, the Lord gave them food. Manna in the morning and quail at night. Ibig sabihin, paglabas nila sa kanilang, they don't need to work. When they get out of their tent, nalalaglag sa langit, pandesal sa umaga. Gardenia. Alam mo yon? Fresh from heaven, hindi fresh from oven. Ha? Sa Mark and Grace, fresh from oven lang yun. Itong kay Lord, fresh from heaven to. So, ang saya nila. Hindi lang yan, bounty fresh. Quails and eggs, crumbled egg, at meron pang fried chicken. So, ang saya nila. Hindi na pinaghirapan, gigising na lang at pupulutin kasi pag sumikat na yung araw, mawala na yung dew, mawawala na yung pagkain. So all they do is just wake up and get and eat. But you know what? One day, nagreklamo sila, ano ba to? Ba't panay na lang tinapay? Ba't panay na lang fried chicken? Ba't panay na lang scrambled egg? Gusto ko naman ng spaghetti, Lord. Diba? Wala ba tayo dyan pares overload? Sabi ng Lord, doon, kailangan yung magtrabaho para kumain. Dito, libre na nga, reklamo pa. Sometimes, ganoon tayo sa Lord. Ang nakikita lang natin sa buhay natin, yung irereklamo natin sa Panginoon. Di natin nakikita yung blessings ng Lord sa buhay natin. Hello? Tingnan mo yung katabi mo habang mareklamo yan sa buhay. Pagkisabi, magbago ka na, kapatid. Napaka-impatient ng mga taong to, na wala lang si Moses for 40 days. Dahil kausap ang Lord, gumawa na agad ng ibang Diyos, made of gold. Pagbaba ni Moses, meron na silang bagong Diyos. Napaka-fickle, napaka-idolatrous, napaka-unbelieving. And of course, he will face powerful enemies to conquer. Later on, magpapagcash ako. I-identify niyo kung ilang kings and kingdoms yung nasubdue ni Joshua. Okay? Huwag niyo mo nang tignan. So, sobrang dami nito. And it's not an easy task. It's not a walk at the park. Sabi nga ni Gracie Lot, it's not a walk at the park. It's a walk in Jurassic Park. So sabi ng Lord kay Joshua, I command you, Joshua, to be strong and courageous. Pwede bang i-command yung maging courageous? Para ba sabi ko, Carlo, kino-command kita, maging courageous ka. Sabi ni Carlo, yes! Paano maging courageous yung isang tao? Ano ba yan? Bato ni Darna ba yan? I mean, ganon? How do you become courageous? If one person will say, maging courageous ka, ano ba yun? Parang may sumasanib ba? Parang, ano to? Power Ranger? Ganon? So if you're going to look at the verse, every time the Lord is going to command Joshua to be strong and be courageous, merong nauuna si Lord na sinasabi. Tapos sinasabi niya, be strong and courageous. Ano yon? 4 na bagay. Bilisan natin. Next slide. Makita natin. Where did Joshua draw or get his courage every time the Lord commands him to be strong and courageous? Next slide. Number 1, God's promise. Kaya mapansin mo dito, I will give you every place where you set your foot as I promised Moses. Tapos, anong next? Be strong and be courageous. Nauna ang promise ng Lord bago ang command na maging strong and courageous. That's where Joshua gets his courage. Then, the land I swore to their ancestors to give them. There's the promise first. Then the command to be strong and courageous. Next, makita natin, be strong and be very courageous. Tapos anong next? Be careful to obey the law of my servant Moses, God's precepts. Keep this book of law always on your lips and meditate on it, then you will be prosperous and successful. So merong guide si Joshua. Meron siyang manual. Meron siyang pupuntahan araw-araw where he can draw his wisdom, his guidance, his strength. So that he can be strong and be courageous. Hindi ito yung tipong kinuman tapos biglang may sumanib. Wala pong ganong kapatid. Then we can see also God's protection. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Huwag kang matakot. There's God's protection. Then number 4, makita natin dyan, God's presence. Do not be discouraged. In a negative ang pagkasabi. In short, kung sa positive ang sinasabi, be courageous. No? For and now, the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua drew his courage in God's promise, God's precepts, God's protection, and God's presence. Now, question ulit mga kapatid. If you reflect on your life today, are you living in the promises, precepts, protection, and the presence of God? Chances are, if not, that's the reason why your life is full of distress, full of fear, full of unbelief, and full of negativity. But if you do, just like Joshua, it will give you a courageous faith to face every problem, difficulty, to face God's assignment for you, to face God's calling for you, to face every hardship that will come along your way. Why? Bakit kapatid? Next slide. Because in the promises of God, there is, altogether, in the precepts of God, there is may wisdom. Every time you open the Word of God, yung tipong nako-confuse ka, hindi mo alam, you can connect the dots when others can't. You will have that uncommon wisdom, deep discernment. In the protection of God, there is. In the presence of God, there is. Life is not perfect. Problems come and go. But if you're in the presence of God, in the presence of these problems, you have altogether peace. That's why sabi ng Lord, I give to those whom I love sleep, and they will have peace. You have to take note, it is not a guarantee mga kapatid na mawawala lahat ng problema mo. As a matter of fact, Joshua still went to fight and face his enemies. But it will enable you to go through it. And just like Joshua, it will give you that courageous faith to overcome and defeat the giants in your life. May mga kalaban si Joshua na giants. Bago pa nilabanan ni David ang giant, si Joshua na ang may unang kalaban na giant. He was able to defeat the enemies and the giants of his life. What are the giants you are facing today? Fear, financial problems, sickness, disease, stress, depression, marital problems. Church, flash news. You cannot defeat it on your own. To have that courageous faith to go through all this, you need God's promise, God's precepts, God's protection, and God's presence. Maybe some of you might ask, paano namin ma-experience yan, Pastor Mark? How can we experience that today? You can experience that today when you establish a daily habit of spending time in God's presence, at least 30 minutes to 1 hour a day. Immerse in prayer, in worship, and in meditation of His Word. And you will be anchored and founded in the promise, precepts, protection, and the presence of God. Tingnan mo ulit yung katabi mo. Mukha bang may time with God in the morning yan? Yan. Sobra maka-skincare, walang soul care. Pakisabi sa katabi, mag-soul care ka din. Ang pangit na ng soul mo. Ang ganda sana ng itsura mo. Number 3 and the last, we're about to end. Joshua resolved, third occasion, Joshua resolved to obey God's command even when it does not make sense. Even when it does not make sense. Ang hirap minsan sundin yung isang bagay na hindi mo nauunawaan. Ang daling sundin yung isang bagay na agree ka. Pero sa bagay na parang hindi ka masyado nag-a-agree, parang ang hirap. Joshua chapter 6, verse 1 to 5. Let's go. Now the gates of Jericho were securely barred, and because of the Israelites, no one went out and no one came in. Securely barred, ibig sabihin talagang merong fortified walls. If you will ask, Pastor Mark, gaano kapal itong fortified walls ng Jericho? Tingnan natin yung picture. Ayan. So yung Jericho, meron pong outer wall, may inner wall. Okay? And as I research, yung kanilang outer wall, yung kapal ay 6 feet. Ako ang height ko is 5'6", dagdagan ng 4 inches or 6 inches pa, no? 6 feet ang kapal ng bakod. Saang bakod na napuntahan nyo dito sa Metro Manila na may kapal na 6 feet? Ang kapal lang po ng bakod, hollow block size. Sa kanya 6 feet. 6 feet thick ang outer wall and 20 feet high. 2-story. And sa pagitan ng outer wall at saka inner wall, andyan po yung mga barracks at andyan po yung mga command station, nagmamarcha-marcha ang lahat ng mga armies ng Jericho. Then meron pa po tayong inner wall, kung saan napaloob yung bayan at yung mga nakatira na mga civilian sa loob ng Jericho. Yung inner wall po, guess what? 20 feet thick. Imagine mo yung 20 feet na, pwede ka na mag-basketball doon sa taas ng kanyang pwede ka na mag-basketball doon sa taas ng tawag nito, wall. And 30 feet high. Yan po ang wall of Jericho. That is difficult to penetrate. Sabi pa ng isang Bible scholar, very difficult to destroy, it's impenetrable. So, anong sabi ng Lord patungkol dito? Nabasa na natin kanina. Verse 2. Then the gates of Jericho, verse 2, then the Lord said to Joshua, see, I have delivered Jericho into your hands along with its king and its fighting men. March around the city once with all the armed men, do this for 6 days. Ganito ang strategy natin. Iikot ka dyan sa wall of Jericho, yung lahat ng army ninyo, isang beses sa isang araw sa loob ng 6 na araw. What kind of military strategy is that? Parade? Kulang na lang may majorette doon sa harap? Ganon. Then on the 7th day, sabi ng Lord, you're going to march 7 times on the 7th day. And on the 7th time, you must blow the trumpet and give a loud battle cry. Yun ang command sa kanila. Every military strategy, Joshua is a warrior. He is Moses' general. From a war perspective, this is a very foolish and funny military tactic. Now here's the thing. To believe in a command requires faith. Get this. To believe in a command requires faith. To carry out a command that you don't understand requires a courageous faith. What did Joshua do? Next slide. Joshua's courageous faith comes not from the command, but from the commander. The command was so foolish, but it's not about the command. It's the one who made the command. The command is absurd, but the commander is reliable. In short, it is not about the command, but the one who commands. Minsan, may mga inuutos ang Diyos na gawin tayo sa buhay natin na hindi natin maintindihan, Lord, bakit iwanan ko siya? Lord, bakit ipalitan ko to? Lord, bakit pupunta ako doon? Lord, bakit gagawin ko to? Hindi mo maintindihan yung command. But you just have to trust the one who commands. When God told Abraham to leave his place, saan sobrang yaman niya at pupunta siya doon sa promised land, sabi ng Lord, sabi ni Abraham, saan ako pupunta? Sabi ng Lord, basta pumunta ka lang. Di ba napaka-absurd ng command? But it's not about the command. It's about the one who commands. So ang tanong sa atin, Pastor Mark, bakit ang Lord nagbibigay siya ng mga situation sa buhay natin at saka mga commands sa buhay natin na minsan di natin maunawaan? And He wants us to obey it. Very quickly, 3 reasons kung bakit. Number 1, because sometimes we are slow to discern God's instruction. Kaya hindi natin maunawaan. Pangalawa, because God's ways are higher than our ways. As high as the heaven is from the earth, so is the way and the thoughts of God higher than yours. And ito yung pangatlo, number 3, so that God gets all the glory. Kasi kung alam mo kung paano i-figure out, at alam lahat ng wisdom mo, at alam lahat ng might mo, and when it is going to succeed, then you will get all the credit. Pero pag ginawa ng Lord na ganito, hindi mo maunawaan, at bakit nangyari yon? At the end of the day, will say, it's not really about me. It's really about what God has done in my life. I have plenty of stories to tell. I can tell you the story about how we failed in the business for 16 times. I can tell you the story of how we planted this church and how the Lord gave us instructions that we cannot understand, but when we chose to obey, the Lord intervened. So ang pinaka-question dito, if you ask the question, can you explain, Pastor Mark, how the walls of Jericho collapsed? By just plain military marching around the walls of Jericho. Para bang sinabi, kaya-kaya natin, paikot-ikot tayo dito sa Guadamol once a day for 6 weeks. And on the 7th day, lakad-lakad tayo. And on the 7th day, babagsak tong buong Guadamol na to. Do you think it's really scientifically and military, in a military tactic way possible? How can a plain military march and loud battle cry can cause a double-walled city to crumble? The answer is, because I'm looking for answers, sabi ko, paano ba scientific way? Sobrang lakas ng sigaw, Wah! Babagsak yung tensile strength ng bato, lahat siya babagsak, ganon. Siguro pag si Jen Amil yung sisigaw, wala siya dito, sorry. Di ba? Kaya ba talaga ng lakas ng sigaw mo pabagsakin yung mga kapal ng ano na yan, ng mga wall na yan? I was really searching for around 30 minutes to 1. Ano kayo sinabi ng mga ano? And here's what I found out. Can really a battle cry and a military march cause a double-walled city to crumble? The answer is no. It did not make the military march or the loud battle cry cause what? The walls of Jericho to crumble. It is the power of God that caused the walls of Jericho to crumble. Kaya kung basahin mo, kasi kaya pala sabi ng 11:30 ng Hebrews, balikan natin, by faith, the walls of Jericho fell. Absurd instruction, kaya sinabi ng Bible, that sometimes the Lord used the foolish things of this world to shame the wise. He used the weak to shame the strong. Hindi natin maunawaan yung plano ng Panginoon. And I'm looking for answers how this marching and how this shouting caused the walls of Jericho to crumble. Pero hindi ito dahil sa marching and shouting. It's the power of God that broke the walls of Jericho. The battle belongs to the Lord. I was searching for answer. The answer is the Lord Himself. No scientific explanation. Kaya pala sabi ng verse 2, nung kinuman ng Lord si Joshua, na mag-ikot-ikot kayo, itong sinabi, eyes of faith ulit. The Lord said to Joshua, see, tignan mo, eyes of faith ulit. I have delivered Jericho into your hands. Done deal na. Sabi ng Lord, tignan mo. Diniliver ko na. Hindi, will. I have delivered already. Done deal na ito. Along with its fighting men and king. And so Joshua, hearing about the instruction, did not argue with God anymore. Okay, si Lord na bahala. Basta sisigaw lang kami doon. Isn't that wonderful? And the power of the Lord destroyed the walls of Jericho. Joshua's courage stems from his faith that God will accomplish what He said, even when it does not make sense. Can we give God a clap of praise for that? The people of Jericho trusted in their fortified walls. Joshua, and the next slide, and the people of Israel trusted in their mighty God. Ano itong fortified walls that sometimes where we put our trust? What are the fortified walls of our lives where we sometimes put our greater trust rather than God? Money, person, career, business. All of these are fragile, mga kapatid. God can do more and accomplish more when we put our faith and our trust in Him. So here's my challenge. Put your ultimate trust and hope in God. Matapos makonquer, alam mo nangyari, nung nabasag yung buong wall, dahil hindi in-expect ng mga tao sa Jericho na talagang mababasag sa sigaw-sigaw lang, nung nabasag, they were stricken with great fear na hindi na sila makagalaw. And it was just easy peasy for the armies of Israel to execute and kill all of them. Wala. Sabog, wasak na yung kanilang confidence. Dahil yung kanilang confidence nasa wall. Wala sa Diyos. Kapatid, wag nating ilagay sa kahit anong fortified wall na akala nating matibay na pwede nating sandalan yung ating buhay. When that collapse, we will collapse. Let's put our hope and our faith in God Himself. So after that, Joshua went to conquer more kingdoms and kings. Now, for the Gcash, how many kings and kingdoms did Joshua conquered? Wala. Okay? Ilan? Si Rina, accounting to? Na-count mo ba? Okay. Okay, wrong. 37 wrong. 31 wrong. 33 wrong. Okay. Baka bilangin na from 1 to 50. The answer is 35 kings and kingdoms. So Joshua's courage stems from his faith that God will accomplish what he said even when it does not make sense. As we come to an end, I would like to ask you this question. Just like Joshua, what is God's call and assignment for your life? Is it to be a missionary? Is it to be a pastor? Is it to be a full-time worker in the campus, the workplace, or in the community? Is it to lead not a nation, but to lead as a father your family closer to Jesus? Is it as a J group leader to lead your whole group closer to Jesus? Every one of us, meron po tayong assignment and call na galing sa Panginoon. Here's the thing. We cannot accomplish that without courageous faith. We must learn like Joshua. To number 1, next slide, look through the eyes of faith. Respond to God's call. And resolve to obey God even when it does not make sense.